In esports, it's not uncommon to see stories of rising stars who show insane level of devotion and conviction. They train for 16 hours a day with complete focus, and then they get on a big stage, perform with complete confidence, while their entire reputation and future is on the line. And seeing this all happen really begs the question, how the hell do they do this? Seriously, how the hell do you snap into a mode where you're 100% focused on improving and as a result making so much more progress so easily? Well, the simple answer, which has a lot more depth to it, is their mindset, the lens through which they see the world. Because when you're playing at the top level, when everything is on the line, when your dream is clear and you know the path to get there, then everything else becomes much easier. And this is why you hear about rising stars who have such big goals, who have the humility to admit that they're not the greatest, but have the belief and aspiration that they'll soon get there. And anyone who fails to have the right mindset or self-belief, especially at a high level of performance, will distance themselves more and more from their pursuits until their self-doubt becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But all of this really begs the question, how exactly does your mindset control your results? How is it that pro players can use the skill of mindset to improve to such high levels? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. We'll look at what mindset really is, why it's so important in achieving success, and how you can use it in your own journey to esports mastery. In esports, what separates those at the top from everyone else? Well, the answer to this is mentality. While high-level players have amazing mechanical ability and they've honed their skills over years of practice, their mechanical ability alone rarely translates into superior in-game performance, because even those who seem skilled or gifted need to train their minds and mindsets in order to really achieve their potential. And this is true in traditional sports as well, which is why mental conditioning is considered almost as important as physical conditioning in pro sports. Yet, in esports, we don't need to train for muscle mass or sprint speed, so this places even more pressure and importance on the mental side of performing. But this all really brings up the big question of why. Why does mindset affect us when we're pursuing a goal or when we need to perform at our best? Well, in order to really understand this, let's look to the research. In one compelling study on mindsets, researchers worked with 84 hotel housekeepers whose daily job includes constant activity, using a variety of different muscles and burning a high amount of calories every day. Of course, of this group, the majority didn't really recognize their day-to-day job as physical exercise, so researchers wanted to see what would happen if they helped them change their mindset about this. Thus, the housekeepers were split into two groups, and they were all measured on weight, blood pressure, body mass, and job satisfaction. Then, half of them were given a presentation and poster showing them how their daily jobs are in fact giving them adequate amounts of physical exercise, and thus, they should expect to receive all the benefits of an active lifestyle. 4 weeks later, they came back to the two groups and measured them on the same metrics. The half that didn't receive the information didn't really change at all, but the half that did lost weight, had a reduction in systolic blood pressure, a reduction in body fat, and they even reported that they liked their jobs more. In other words, a small shift in their mindset caused a change in their body and behavior that resulted in improved health metrics. In another similar study on mindsets, a group was given 2 different milkshakes on separate days. Each time, the researchers measured their hunger hormone ghrelin, which acts as an indicator in our body when we're hungry and require food. The first milkshake was labeled as a low-calorie diet milkshake, and the second was a high-calorie indulgent milkshake. As one might expect, the ghrelin levels responded quite differently to each milkshake, dropping 3 times as much with the high-calorie milkshake. But what's most interesting is that on both days, they were actually given the exact same milkshake, but simply told that they were receiving different ones. And simply based on their expectations, their bodies reacted completely differently. And what these and similar studies show us is that our mindset plays a major role in how our bodies and minds react to the world, both on a psychological level and physiological level. And this is exactly why high performers like pro gamers or sports athletes spend time to train their mental skills and mindset. Because whether they're aware of the science or not, they all realize that by training their mindset, it enhances their work ethic and performance. And with purposeful practice, you can also develop your mindset and mental dexterity so that you can elevate yourself to a higher performance level, just like the pros. To build the mental skills of a pro player, you need to begin to think like them. Whether purposeful or not, players who achieve a high level of success in esports all have similar mindsets. These high-level players set their aim high and simply go for it. They're constantly thinking about the next big goal, whether that's making it onto a prestigious team or winning an upcoming tournament. And instead of being a distant dream for them, these goals are a close reality. They know that they can achieve it with enough ingenuity and effort, and thus they're dedicated to making it happen. And for a high-level player or a rising star, they don't glorify the pro scene as something that's unobtainable. They don't look to great players like they're gods with some superhuman talent. Instead, they see them for their work and effort that they've put in. They see their mechanical and mental skills as something they can learn from and attain themselves. Now, of course, most of us aren't at a professional level, but all of us can still acquire a high-performance mindset. Every one of us can learn to think like a pro and achieve our personal best in the game of our choice. So, to perform at a champion's level, you must change the way you view your efforts and set a compelling direction for where you're headed. Begin to shoot for the most favorable outcome you can think of, seeing your efforts and actions all part of a plan to make it to a pro level. And whether you're a low-ranked player or a semi-pro player, setting this kind of mindset will compel you to work harder and pull you towards a superior level of performance. So start by really imagining what it would be like to be a pro player. Visualize your in-game performance, considering how you would play differently if you're on the same skill level as the top players in the world. And then visualize yourself outside the game. Consider how much more time you would invest into training or what kind of focus level you would have every day. And really begin to see yourself at this level of performance. Give yourself a mental image of what it would be like if you could achieve your personal best. Then, as you think about this, start to consider how you can bridge the gap from where you are now to where you could be. And to really bridge this gap, start by honestly assessing yourself in 4 different categories using a scale of 1 to 10. The first category being your mental skills, things like your mindset, your level of discipline, your confidence. The second category being your game knowledge, your understanding of the game's core concepts, your knowledge of character abilities, frame data, and that kind of stuff. The third category being your in-game mechanics, things like reaction speed or combo execution. And the final category being your game strategy, your ability to understand and predict your enemies, your knowledge of character matchups, and your mastery of different playstyles. Now, honestly assess where you are in each of these categories. Consider which areas are your current strengths and which are your current weaknesses. And then look to each category again and consider how you can improve within each of them. But of course, just thinking about this won't do you much good, so start writing it down. Take general notes on specific skills within each category that you need to start working on. And as you make these notes, start turning them into an action plan by scheduling practice sessions for the week ahead, focusing on a single specific skill for at least 1 hour each day. By really planning this out, figuring out what skills you need to improve, and turning them into scheduled practices, you're setting for yourself a focus every single day, essentially a roadmap to success. And what's most important is that during every single practice, when you're working on these skills, you need to maintain and condition this new mindset. You need to remain disciplined in your practice, constantly looking for new ways to push yourself towards becoming a higher level player. And really start to make this a habit by asking yourself, what can I do today to make progress towards becoming a professional level player? And consider even taking this a step further by asking yourself, how can I become even better than the pros that I look up to? Considering both their strengths that you can emulate and their weaknesses that you can become even better at. And by really striving for the highest level possible, it will give you the ambition and motivation to achieve your personal best. So really work on this mindset and don't let it go. In fact, really make it automatic by actively reminding yourself of it every day. Consider changing the background on your computer to something that inspires you to reach a professional level of skill, or consider creating a scheduled reminder on your phone to keep this mindset while you're practicing. So to really forge your highest performing self and achieve your desired goals in esports, you must begin by setting a vivid goal of becoming your best self, and then begin pursuing it each day. You must condition yourself to approach your practice and performances with the attitude of a pro player. The next step here is developing the mental skills and techniques of the world's highest performers, including things like self-talk, goal setting, and developing a stronger focus. But exploring these techniques will be left for later videos. For now, focus on your attitude and condition yourself to think like a pro. Because developing this mindset will allow you to develop a higher level of confidence in your efforts, a stronger level of focus in your work ethic, and more importantly, it'll help you to reach your full potential. Hey there, eAthletes. Thank you so much for watching. This video is brought to you by our very own esports supplement, eAdvantage. Now, the inspiration behind eAdvantage is to help competitive gamers like yourself to enter a state of optimal performance, a state where you can play at your best and develop your skills more effectively. And it does this by combining 6 different ingredients that work together to help enhance brain function and memory while helping to reduce fatigue and boost alertness. And since eAdvantage is actually designed for performance and also designed to be healthy, it doesn't contain any of the sugar or sweeteners that you find in energy drinks. Instead, it contains only the necessary ingredients, which are all packed into a small capsule. So, if you're the type of gamer who's serious about improving and you care about your health and desire to reach an optimal state of performance, then check out eAdvantage for yourself. And when you're ready to try it out for yourself, you can get 6.5% off your first order when you use the code EATHLETE1. And I'll leave this code in the description down below, as well as a link to the website. And of course, as always, I hope you guys loved this video. I hope you got a ton of value from it, and I'll see you all in the next video.